Thank you all for being here this afternoon. First, let me just thank our Chief, Floyd Mitchell, for his leadership of the Oakland Police Department. Also to our Assistant Chief, Anthony Tedesco, for his operational expertise. And our Chief, Holly Joshi, for her work leading our Department of Violence Prevention. And also for Reverend Demita, who serves as my Public Safety Director. Together, we're implementing the comprehensive public safety strategy that Oakland needs. And today's results really do show that collaboration is working. These results show that we're on the right track, but our work is far from done. We're going to keep building on this progress with the same comprehensive approach that got us here. Now, I'm focused on delivering the comprehensive public safety Oakland needs. We're funding 678 sworn officers this year as part of our multi-year commitment to reach 700 under Measure NN, which voters voted for last November. We're also expanding our Department of Violence Prevention investments to target the strategies that actually reduce violence. The council and I added resources for sideshow prevention and abandoned vehicle removal, because when I say comprehensive public safety, I mean addressing every single issue that affects our neighborhood's safety and quality of life, including human trafficking. Ceasefire is focused on deterrent strategies that directly targets gun violence at its source by intervening with high-risk individuals before shootings happen. This program is a critical part of our comprehensive public safety strategy that includes both enforcement and prevention. When we address violence from multiple angles, we get the results we're seeing today, and we're going to keep expanding these efforts. We listen to Oakland residents, and we have, yes, our marching orders. First, violent crime and property crime are down. Also, with the focus on gun violence reduction, we do see reductions also in property crimes. And yes, we need to get that word out so people feel confident about shopping, eating, enjoying everything that Oakland has to offer. We're going to revitalize our commercial districts and support our local businesses. Second, we're making sure that our entertainment and businesses, the areas, have clean, walkable, safe, and yes, well-lit streets. And third, we're continuing our investments in what works: small business support, police academies, violence prevention, and ceasefire programs, and workforce training that keeps Oaklanders employed right here in Oakland. So now I'd like to introduce Oakland's Police Chief, Floyd Mitchell, who is deeply committed to executing our public safety strategy, which is showing results. Thank you again. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, and thank everyone for joining us today. Last year around this same time, I provided Oakland's crime trend data for the first 6 months of 2024. Today's press conference, much like last year, is again meant to provide the community with an update on the crime trends for the City of Oakland from January the 1st to June 30th of this year. This update, much like last year, corresponds with the release of the violent crime data from the Major City Chiefs Association, which indicates that violent crime has decreased across major cities nationwide compared to the same time period in 2024. Individually, homicides have decreased 21% year over year from last year. Aggravated assaults are down 18% from last year. Rapes are down 24%, and robberies are down 41%. When we look at our reported property crimes for the first 6 months of 2025 as compared to 2024, we continue to see a decrease in the number of property crimes citywide. Burglaries have shown a decrease of 19%, motor vehicle thefts have shown a decrease of 45%, and larcenies have shown a decrease of 17%. Arsons are the only area where we have seen an increase in crimes year over year, and that is 9% increase. I know there has been and continues to be a concern regarding the validity of our property crime numbers, and for several reasons. We know that not everyone reports property crimes. When crimes go unreported, it limits our ability to investigate and identify emerging crime trends. We strongly urge residents and businesses to report all crimes, regardless of the severity, so that we can better identify crime patterns and deploy the necessary resources based on complete crime data affecting our neighborhood. We also know that there's a delay in reporting property crimes that are submitted via online. These are processing backlogs, which can delay how quickly those incidents are reflected in our crime data. This means it may take more time for those reports to be reviewed and reflected in our statistical data on a weekly and monthly basis. However, when you look at our verified crime data for 2024, we have continued to experience a sizable decrease in overall property crime, when reported across the city. I now want to transition to our answering speed. Our 911 answering speeds, which are measured from the moment a call comes into our 911 center in the communications division to when a dispatcher answers the call, have significantly improved. Over the first 6 months of this year, OPD has maintained an average of 73% 911 call answering speeds within the first 15 seconds, up from the 6-month average of 50% over the same time period in 2024. We are on the right path, and although there's still work to be done to reach the 90% standard for the state for calls answered within 15 seconds, it's exciting to see our significant and steady improvements across compared to this time last year. With our continued efforts, we are confident we'll continue to enhance the answering speeds and reach the goal of 90%. These reductions directly reflect the hard work and dedication of everyone on OPD, along with the cooperation of our community and our partners. While we're encouraged by the reductions of the violent crime and property crime, we recognize that there's more work to be done, especially when it comes to gun violence and homicides. I understand that if you have been a victim of a crime, it may not feel like crime is going down. But please know that our officers remain deeply committed to investigating and solving every case, including yours. In recent weeks, and just the other day during National Night Out, I heard directly from community members who say they are feeling safer and they feel the positive trends based on the data. I'm also happy to announce the start of the 195th Police Academy that started July 21st. And this is the first academy that we've started in over a year, and a testament to the commitment to public safety by Mayor Lee within her first 100 days in office. People are starting to feel safer in Oakland, which is a testament to the community and to our commitment to our community, and under the new leadership of Mayor Lee, who you just heard from, as well as our continued partnership with Chief Holly Joshi at the Department of Violence Prevention, who you will hear from today. With that, I'll turn it over to Assistant Chief Anthony Tedesco, who will provide updates on the department's progress with its summer safety plan.
Good afternoon. I'm Assistant Chief Anthony Tedesco. We're almost 2 months into our summer crime plan, and as the Chief and Mayor have stated, crime is down. And again, these decreases are on top of those that we saw in 2024. And I want to thank the hard-working members of our staff and our partners for their dedication. With the start of summer, ramped up sideshow and dangerous driving enforcement. Our officers are out and holding those accountable who'd come to our city to commit illegal sideshow. I'd like to highlight the tremendous work of our traffic division and Officer Darwin Telez. Thanks to his work, more than 100 vehicles have been towed for engaging in dangerous driving this year. Our special resources teams work alongside staff from our real-time operations center, our criminal investigation division, and they have greatly contributed to the reductions in crime. Their investigative skill has led to the apprehension and charging of 2 individuals that engaged in a series of convenience store robberies and rideshare robberies. In fact, since June, our robbery unit's diligence has led to the arrest and charging of 37 persons. Our burglary unit, special resources teams, and ceasefire team has investigated and arrested 4 individuals who were involved in a series of 13 brazen crimes where they used vehicles to smash into the front of businesses. Thanks to their efforts, these individuals have been taken into custody. This time has not been without difficulty. After the tragic and senseless killing of parole agent Joshua Byrd, the men and women of the Oakland Police Department with the support of many Bay Area agencies, came together and caught the person responsible within a matter of hours. It was a difficult time, but I am proud of the efforts of our officers. For the upcoming holidays, including Labor Day, we will have increased presence, and we will communicate to the public to provide a safe environment for those who live, work, and play in Oakland. We have and will continue to work closely with our partners in order to keep this momentum going. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Holly Joshi.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. You heard the mayor speak about our holistic, comprehensive approach to public safety. And the Department of Violence Prevention represents the city's investment in violence prevention and intervention. We approach our work from a public health lens that recognizes that violence can be prevented and intervened in. And to that end, we work to identify those at eminent risk of gun violence, those that may draw or drive gun violence within the next 90 days, and we work with those individuals to find pathways out of violence. Our model utilizes a credible messenger model, individuals from Oakland with applicable lived experience and professional training. They conduct outreach in vulnerable communities, and we have an intensive case management model focused on creating the mindset shifts, behavior changes, and opportunities available to Oakland's most vulnerable. Oakland's approach to community violence intervention and the presence of the Department of Violence Prevention is part of a comprehensive public safety strategy and represents a growing field. There are over 50 similar offices and jurisdictions across the nation. We believe in this model, we believe in this multi-pronged approach, and we're seeing the results of our commitment. We will continue to measure progress and outcomes, holding ourselves accountable to increase safety and health for all Oaklanders. With that said, I'll turn it over to Chief Mitchell for questions.
Just want to open it up for a little bit to ask about questions.
Can you speak first?
Just want to open it up, give questions. Go ahead.
Sorry. With those statistics, keeping in mind that many people don't report crime because they say 911, you call and police doesn't show up. Do you think the case wouldn't be like those statistics wouldn't be that good if everybody would be reporting? Also, like yesterday, like a teenager was shot here in Oakland. Like, do you think it'll have any effect on the data?
As I've spoken to before to this group, we can only report on the data that is reported to us. We encourage our community to report each and every crime because it affects how we deploy our resources. So what I would continue to do is continue to encourage people to report our crime. But the crime year over year is based on what is reported. So we're reporting the statistics based on what's reported to us year over year.
Can I add to that real quick, Chief
Yes.
Mitchell? So homicide and shooting is the most reliable data in the city. Homicides and shootings are being reported across the city. And we also have ShotSpotter technology across the city, as you all know. And so when we see homicide and shooting victim numbers going down and they correspond and correlate to what we see on the ShotSpotter technology, then those homicide and shooting data are very reliable indicators of crime.
And as was spoken to before, our violent crime offenders also affect our property crimes. And when we see violent crime goes down, there is a correlation to our property crime, and it goes down because you're putting those offenders and you're taking those offenders into custody as well. Yes, ma'am.
Nice to see you again. I would like to hear about the staffing levels in the 911 center. I know that the numbers have gone up, but is staffing up, or are you still looking to recruit folks?
Staffing is slowly going up. I know we just hired, I believe, six brand new dispatchers. Deputy Chief Kiana Suttle is back there, and she is over our communications unit, and we have several people that are in the background phase. I believe we have 13 vacancies right now. So we're trying to get those people through the background phase so we can get them hired. But that is part of the reason why we're seeing the increase in there. We're working with Cal OES to try to get us to where we need to be, that 90%. But as long as we continue to see positive improvements in our call answering speeds, I'm okay with where we are right now. Yes, ma'am.
We of course know that it takes a long time for these crime statistics to get to where they are today. It takes months, if not years. So what do you really attribute these crime rates to? And respectfully, how much of this should be attributed to prior leadership in Oakland?
Well, what I would say is, you know, there is a natural ebb and flow to crime and crime statistics, but when there's clear evidence, then when we stepped away from the ceasefire strategy and the coordination between DVP and our community and our citizens, our crime went up. Now that initiative was brought back, we are seeing significant decreases in crime. And you're right, there is what the data is telling you, and then there's that perception of crime. And that's one of the things that I think is important, and Mayor Lee has hammered into me over this first 100 days is we have to talk about more about what we're doing, because crime is going down, so we have to address the perception and the feeling of crime right now. So you're going to see us, my communications manager, my PIO, talking more about the numbers and where they are, because we want people to understand that while we are a major metropolitan city and there's going to be a certain level of crime, crime is going down. People are starting to feel safe, and having those conversations like we had the other day with folks, sitting down with people and them telling me, we are starting to see the difference. We're starting to feel like crime is going down. But you're right, it's going to take time. Mayor, I don't know if you want to add to that.
Well, no, I'll just very quickly add that the trajectory is moving in the correct direction. But I want to salute and thank the council members, because we had a very challenging budget, but we invested once again in our public safety strategy, and that allowed us to continue with the strategy to begin to reduce and continue to reduce crime. And so the budget decisions that we made were very important at this point, because it is, I call it a defining moment in Oakland.
Thank you. Could you just speak a little bit more about the regional context? Is Oakland in line with it? Is it down everywhere, or kind of just give us a little bit more of the regional and statewide context to the extent you know it at this point?
Yeah, and I believe Manager, Paul, he added the link to the invite that talks about the major city police chiefs, and the FBI has also released their numbers as well. So we're seeing a trend across the United States. Here specifically, a major metropolitan city, again, I think it's the coordination that we have with our local partners, meaning Alameda County Sheriff's Office. Today I attended, as I do every month that I can, the Alameda Chiefs and Sheriffs Association, where we talk about specific crime trends, and the DA is there to talk about what she's doing in her office to help us address the crime within the region. So you have that, you have your CHP, and you have your federal partners, your U.S. Marshals, your FBI, and your DEA, that help us address specific crime problems throughout the region. So I think as long as we continue to partner and we're all pulling in the same direction, we can address the crime issues within this region.
Can I
Yes, ma'am.
I've been doing community safety work in Oakland in some form or fashion since 2001. One of the things I think is important when we are comparing regional and national data to Oakland is that most oftentimes we don't benefit from the national trends when they go down. And we saw that right after COVID. 2022, 2023, when national trends in violence started going down, and even in the region, Oakland was still suffering very significantly and disparately from violent crime. I think what we saw from 2012 to 2019 was the implementation of a focused deterrent strategy is what works in Oakland. And so the fact that we walked away from the strategy in 2019, and then also we're dealing with COVID, I don't think is a coincidence that violent crime was going up and did not start to trend down like it was in many other places. So the re-implementation of the strategy in early 2024 is a really important data point for us to note. Of course, we won't be able to know for sure how much of the reductions can be attributed to a focused deterrent strategy until we have the independent research and evaluators come back in, which they'll be coming in this year.
Let me just mention one thing on the regional strategy, and we're in preliminary discussions with developing a mayor's and public safety officials, specifically Senator Jesse Arreguín. We've talked with Supervisor Nate Miley, the Mayor of Vallejo, and others to develop a public safety corridor. When I was in the legislature, Tom Bates and myself established a regional public safety corridor, and it really made a big impact because we know what happens with crime, how it has no home really. And so we're in the process of putting that together, and we'll report back once we have the structure in place. But we have buy-in from quite a few of our leaders to do a mayor's assembly, Senate, county public safety corridor.
Thank you, Mayor. Alina.
Chief, do you attribute any of this success to the reduction of numbers, to your partnership with the district attorney's office? Is that helping in keeping criminals off the street?
You know, I believe so, and again, it goes back to that perception. DA Jones-Dixon, again, she attends the Alameda County Chiefs and Sheriffs Association. She was there this morning at 9 o'clock, and we were engaged in different conversations. And just knowing that she is going to add those enhancements. She is going to hold people accountable when Oakland or any of the other law enforcement agencies within this region present good cases to her. She is a partner for us, and she has shown her colors that she is going to be a true partner for law enforcement as we move forward. So yes, ma'am.
Show me.
A question for Dr. Joshi.
Yes,
Could you give us specific details of an instance, or maybe a flashpoint of retaliatory gun violence that ceasefire was able to intercept college or hospital visits? Like, was there a real kind of outlier moment where you were able to kind of maybe get two warring gangs to put down their guns?
The way that the Department of Violence Prevention violence intervention strategies work is that most typically we're working with one side of the problem one at a time. It's not typical that we're bringing two sides that are battling or in conflict together in a room at the same time. That is a very delicate strategy that has only been attempted in Oakland a handful of times over the years that we've had ceasefire. So typically we're utilizing our violence interrupters who have deep community understanding and deep community connections to identify those individuals that are most likely to retaliate after a shooting has occurred, to deliver the ceasefire message, which is essentially, we understand that you are at high risk for violence. There are many eyes on you, including law enforcement, and we have an alternative. And so that's typically how it works. And then there's the offer of services, and of course the services have to be real, and they have to be credible, and they have to be swift. So that's typically how it happens, and it happens every day. So the violence interrupters and the life coaches working for the Department of Violence Prevention are doing both response to shootings after they've occurred to identify those individuals most likely to retaliate, and then also utilizing their community understanding and relationships to intervene in conflict before it turns into gun violence. And a recent example of conflict before it turns into gun violence is a street fight in East Oakland, where someone was knocked out unconscious, and the community began to talk about what retaliation would look like in that instance. And of course, gun violence was on the table. And so the violence interrupters being able to get a hold of individuals involved in that and doing a conflict mediation prevented gun violence from occurring in the first place. And so we left a physical fight at a physical fight level.
Would that have been last year, the street fight, or any kind of base of time for that?
A couple, maybe 2 months ago.
Thanks a lot.
Thank
I'll
you.
answer this for my last question.
Yeah, because I know the mayor's late for 2 o'clock, and I have a 2 o'clock as well.
Two questions, both related. One, there's also a lot of concern about over-policing. You have a CHP now helping the city of Oakland and whatnot. Any numbers around use of force, statistics around that, officer use of force, number one, and number two, how has the additional, like CHP and whatnot, helped in bringing these numbers down?
Well, I think the numbers showed last year that having a CHP help us here, I would attribute a lot to the reduction in crime and having our partners, not only CHP, but Alameda County Sheriff's Office. In regards to over-policing, I think Oakland is one of the cities across the United States that we take that very seriously, and we make sure that we are partnering with our community, and we don't want people to feel like they're being over-policed. We are using the data. We are very data driven, and we are addressing and targeting the people that are causing harm to our community. So at this point in time, I don't see a specific spike in any of our uses of force or anything like that. It's more of how we go about targeting those who are causing harm to our community. All right?
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor.